I just want to make a little apology before this Chinwag. We had a lot of technical difficulties in this one. So, apologies. There's a lot of sort of quite crude edits and cuts and pastes, but there was some massive audio issues with this. But there was enough of the podcast there for me to be able to piece it together. So it's a bit of a jigsaw. So apologies to Dave as well that it didn't work out. We will absolutely get you on again and we'll do it properly. I'm really pleased we didn't do it live though, because the sound issues were quite prevalent throughout it. So it's a bit of a mishmash. It's a really interesting story though there about, if you don't know about the Dutch Pinball and the Big Lebowski, that's something to listen out for. As I say, it's a bit cut and pasty. Apologies. We'll hopefully be back to next week without any of these technical issues. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the Chinwag. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to episode 24 of the UK podcast, aka also known as the Chinwag, which is because, well, we have a Chinwag about pinball, basically, which is what you can expect from the next, 45 minutes, an hour. Who knows how long it's going to be. I've got somebody from the forum here, from Pinball Info, somebody I've been... Well, you will all know him if you're on the forum. You will all know him. Some of you will know him personally. Some people will know him from online. Some people will know him from contesting the Stern Games Room competition with these fantastic banners. Some of you have bought stuff from him. I've got some... not on there at the moment. Apologies for the state of that, by the way. You can see I am putting the team moulding on at the moment. I've taken the black team moulding off. The yellow team moulding's going on, but I'm halfway through it. I thought we'd do a podcast now. But when that's got his team moulding on it, and my other machines, they've actually got covers on them. I've got lovely covers that cover the back box and cover the machine itself. I'm going to bring him in without any further introduction. You'll know him from the forum as Dave Bishop, and I'm guessing his name is Dave Bishop.
It is, Chris. It is, yeah. Hello there. You right?
I'm not bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on.
No, mate. Listen, thanks for coming on. When I was doing, when we said about coming on, and I often say to people, as people know that have been on the podcast before, I always say, send me some pictures. You got any pictures? Send me some pictures over. And I think it's quite nice to give almost not a name to a face in terms of the machines and the collections and that sort of thing. It was when you were sending the pictures over, I started recalling conversations we've had. I started recalling different threads that had been on the forum as well. So I think there's actually quite a lot to discuss today, mate. Really, going from how you started getting into the hobby, what you've got now, the different machines you have, what you do, the covers. So basically, I know a lot of people listen to this might be one to watch because we do have a lot of photographs for this particular one. I'll tell you what, let's start off with a curveball, because I like a little curveball to start. What's your favourite game?
All of them, Chris, all of them. But I haven't got a favourite game, to be honest. I haven't got a favourite game. They all offer something different. My friends, they say to me, it's just the same thing. It's just like two flippers flipping the ball. That's what we do. And I'm like, no, you got it's the display, the screen, the shots, the animations, and just they're all my favourite. I haven't really got a favourite game. It depends what mood I'm in. I'll go up to the cabin and go, right, just fancy a short blast. I might turn on Monsters. It's quite a fun game. Attack from Mars keeps coming back. Medieval. It's just kind of what mood I'm in. And humorous. I do like the humorous games, like Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, Monsters. Fantasy 6 is like quite campy in that. And it's just, they're my sort of games that I like, humorous.
Monsters doesn't get a lot of love, Dave. Monsters gets a bit of stick. Why is that, would you think? Why you clearly a title that you love because you've got it there.
Yeah, I mean it's getting a lot of stick from people. I think I love it because it's one of those games. I think it's quite humorous. I watched it as a kid when I was growing up with my dad, and it doesn't. A lot of people now want code, deep code. They want a whole marathon, and then I'm kind of not like that. I like Monsters, Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness, quite shallow code, but it's a blast to play. Really fun. The layout's really good on Monsters, and it's just fun to play. Fast and furious it can get, and I think it just gets a lot of stick because the code isn't comparable to like Batman 66. And when you kind of had those two different coders, you had Lyman and you had Dwight do Monsters, Lyman doing Batman. But the assets, the IP they had on Monsters could have been so much better. They could have put so much more into it. But it is what it is. But as far as there's a lot of people that want deep code. I know Neil, for example, doesn't like Monsters, but Neil, I think, is very much into deep code. Wants competition. I'm not like that. I don't. I just want to have a good laugh when playing them. To be honest.
Who designed the game? Monsters.
Who designed the game? John Borg designed Monsters. Okay. Gomez designed, along with Ka-Pow, was Batman 66. Lyman coded Batman 66. Dwight Sullivan coded Monsters.
Okay, what have you got? So just talk us through your collection, please, Dave. I'll pop up some pictures as we're doing it. And I'm sure some of them might have been and gone by now, but we'll discuss the various machines. Just take us through what have you got. I say in the house. Now, are they all in the house, or because this is your shed?
They're in a cabinet up in the garden. So when my son was born 8 years ago, the wife was like, "You can't have pinball machines in the house." So I was like, "Right, okay." Built a games room down the bottom of the garden, 6 meters by 5 meters. The games room build is on Pinball Info under like Man Cave or games room builds and stuff under that subheading.
So how many have you got in there?
So far there's 12 in there.
12.
So
12
Stern side,
okay, talk us through the lineup, mate.
Yeah. So Stern side, I've got Ghostbusters LE, Godzilla LE, Star Wars LE, Monsters LE, and Batman 66 Catwoman. That was taken just before I let Guardians go.
Of course, yes.
And then on the other side, I've got Bailey Williams. We've got Anne's Family Gold, Medieval Madness, Attack from Mars, Big Lebowski, which is obviously Dutch pinball, and then folded up on the thing is something like that is Creature back again.
But how's Godzilla been for you? So you got the LE, did you say? You've got a picture here somewhere.
Yeah, I took plunge on the LE. It wasn't a thing that interested me at all, really. And then Keith Elwin, I haven't got a Keith Elwin game until I got Godzilla, and I heard good things about him. But then on the release and seeing the videos, it's that sort of Japanese campy. It's that humour that I enjoy, that I like, So this banner was made by Zanuck on the group. All the banners were made by Zanuck, actually. Really good quality. But yeah, and it's just a fun theme. It shoots, as Neil would say, shots are like butter. That's a crap accent. Sorry.
Is that Yorkshire? You went Yorkshire on us rather than the full Scottish.
Shoots like butter. I can't know. But anyway, the shots are really good and it's very satisfying. And the code is good at the minute. It's only going to get better. So I'm really pleased that I got that Godzilla, to be honest.
Have you played pinball today?
I haven't. I've been working so much, and yesterday was a long day, and then today I was going to get a few games in before I had a chat. But
did you play yesterday? Then you said yesterday was a long day. Did you play yesterday?
Sorry, no.
Did you play yesterday?
Working.
Day before yesterday. You must have played day before yesterday.
No, working.
Shocking behaviour. Actually, I know you've been busy because
I'll get a few games in today. I'll get a few games in.
What will you switch on first?
Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla first.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe the Lebowski. Actually, we're talking about it.
Yeah. It's funny like that, isn't it? We had Spencer came over yesterday, and Deadpool's folded down. Star Wars is in the hall, and Star Wars ready to play. But we just spent all day playing Avengers: Infinity Quest yesterday, and we had Spencer's. Well, he's an engineer. He comes from an engineering background. He's very, very. He used to have 30 lathes at one point, Spencer. I mean, that's what you're talking about. His dad used to make grandfather clocks. Spencer's a very, very technical guy, and one of the ramps, the Black Panther ramp, was sort of narrowing, and which is a problem on it on that particular game that comes from the manufacturer, and also the spinning disc on there can be slightly out of alignment. So Spencer said, "Right, I'm not having that. Let's get this thing up. Let's start trying to fix these issues." But after that, we put some serious time into the game and sort of really got lost in it. So we had a good old pinball day yesterday, but hopefully I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping, I am going to get a Godzilla very, very soon. Actually, I don't know if it's going to be very soon. It might be. It could be this year. It could be next year. Hopefully. You never know. It might be before Christmas.
Premium will take it. Well, your premium, yeah.
Well,
Pinball
I've actually
Pro?
said to I said
Because
to Phil,
Pinball does do a lot.
I said I'll take whatever comes first.
Mm,
And that being a pro or a premium. Well, I'd rather if I can have a pro in December, if it's a choice between a pro in December or a premium in March, I'll take
mm.
the pro now. I really will because
You've got
I
that
don't
urge now. So now you played Neil's.
now played Neil's and I've seen the videos of the pro. I think I thought initially I've got to have the collapsing building. I've got to have all, and it was wonderful. And it is wonderful. But having seen the pro play on video,
Mm.
um, look, clearly the LE and the premium are going to be better because they've got those wonderful mechanisms. But I could more than handle the pro there because it still looks a really good game in terms of the flow of the shots and everything. And that Avengers Infinity Quest only a pro, and there's so much fun to be had with it. So
Yeah.
I'll manage it. But I really liked the toys on it. So
I think that it'd be interesting if it is obviously Venom, but cartoon version. Because obviously, I think Stern if they put their prices up, but I think that will get they kind of do swerve the having to pay the actors and all that sort of stuff by going into cartoons. Like even like an event. I mean, imagine how much Avengers would cost if you had all the actors and voices and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, like stupid amounts, wouldn't it? So I think Godzilla. I said it's a classic movie. It's really good. And if Stern start releasing more stuff like that, I mean, Rush. I don't know how much a Rush license would cost, but probably not as much as you know a film license, if you know what I mean.
No, and it's got to be less than Led Zeppelin because Led Zeppelin are sort of
Yeah.
like, well, at one point were the biggest band in the world, weren't they? So
If they take that money that they save on the license, they channel it into the base materials. I'm all for it. I mean, Godzilla's set a high bar now, really. So when, I mean, looking forward to James Bond. That's heavily rumoured as well. So Venom of Rush, James Bond, I think sort of second quarter. And then Back to the Future, if that does materialise, then that is...
But they're all licenses, like you
They're
say.
all
I mean,
licenses,
one of
yeah.
the best.
They are.
I understand because obviously you've got I saw a Cactus Canyon pictures at that there. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in just a second, actually, both of those. But I think I know Cactus Canyon's a license now because they've had to buy it off Williams or whoever, haven't they?
Pinball, yeah.
They've had to get that. But originally it wasn't a license; it was just a generic cowboy theme. It's the same with the Champion Pub. When that was first made, Champion Pub, there's no license to it, but it's a bloody great game. Attack from Mars, I guess there was no initial license. So I think that's what I do wonder, how much creativity is there in pinball to actually invent something, to invent and say, actually, I'm going to have a medieval game, or I'm going to have an aliens game, or I'm going to have a Western game. To actually, and you know what? Then you haven't got to pay the big actors. You got, none of those people that did the voices in Attack from Mars or Cactus Canyon or Medieval Madness would have been massively known to the wider acting community. You haven't got to pay them. They're just voiceover artists. And without being funny, they're 10 a penny. Because I know that because we've been we're doing a little thing on Amazon at the moment for an animated series. We're putting together a series of voiceover artists for that anyway. So I do wonder about creativity. And it's like you say, if the amount that they probably save on paying whoever it is, who is it? It's Ian Fleming. It's the Broccoli family, isn't it? That own the James Bond franchise. How much have they got to pay them?
And MGM, isn't it? Who actually Amazon now own MGM.
Yeah, they just could save so much money. That being said, Back to the Future pin, Jaws pin. I'll be all over it, depending on the designer.
Comes out, I do hope that it is. I mean, I know Jurassic Park, for example. Jurassic Park, it's a comic. It's not the. It's Jurassic Park, but it's not the film, is it? And then they've done. There's a guy who's taken the Jurassic, like the Turtles as well, taken the 1980s cartoons and put it into Turtles, taken the Jurassic Park film and put it into Jurassic Park. Now with the Insider Connect and stuff, and now that Stern can sort of see inside the machine, that's not going to happen anymore. That's gone out the window. So when it comes to licenses and I said like Bond and Back to the Future, I mean, I would be really upset if Back to the Future isn't the film. If it's a cartoon version, I'll be most annoyed, most upset.
You need it to be a film. It has to be the film.
Yeah, God, absolutely, it has to be the film.
It's Christopher Lloyd. That's his name, isn't it? Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd, yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox. It has to be that.
Yeah. You say that, but if it, and I do. I hope it is because
I'd be an outcry. I know what you're saying. Now you got me worried. Not that I bought one, but
yeah.
I think there would be an absolute outcry if it was certainly. So, have you still got the Cactus Canyon? Obviously, that's
No, Cactus Canyon. I moved on, sold to my friend, literally down the road. Because when I bought Cactus Canyon, it was from Mike Kloss in Duke of Pinball, now passed away, God rest his soul. And he sent it to me. And Andy Netherwood from Pinball Mania, he said, "Oh, I've got a friend who lives near, or got a fellow enthusiast who lives near you. Can I get Mike to put in it was a CV ramp, neon ramp?" I said, "Okay." So what? There's another pinball weirdo out there. This is when I was still. Cactus Canyon was one of my sort of about 4th, 5th game, so I didn't really know a lot about the pinball community then either. He said, "Yeah, it's like literally 10-minute walk." So we kind of like any game I buy, I'll then buy it and then I'll sell it to my friend Mark. He had it for quite a while. He sold it onto Mission 65 on the group, not so Tony long ago. Yeah, so Tony's in receipt of that, and that's going to go into Tony's hopefully pinball club as well, opening up soon.
Yes, yeah. Fingers crossed, mate. Massively fingers crossed. That'd be great. Yeah, he's got a sub collection, Tony. To be fair,
he's got 150 something.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's sight to see and sight to behold.
It is. I was like a kid in a sweet shop, honestly. But I didn't even see all of them. So yeah, it was quite amazing. Really lovely guy as well. What was your first game then?
First game was a Dirty Harry. So
okay.
How I got into pinball is started off fruit machines. I went to a friend of mine. He said, "Oh, I've got a fruit machine for sale, 80 quid." Okay, all works. So I put it into my friend's flat. We had back years ago when I was young. Put it in his flat. We had parties no end, and that made me a lot of money. So it was a Monty Python's Flying Circus, a £15 jackpot, and then with the profit I bought Monty Python's Holy Grail. Stuck that in the flat, made me a ton of money, and basically I filled his flat with about 4 fruit machines, and parties every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, like proper. And it made me, and then that kind of got me into my next 4 fruit machines. Then I bought a 4-player X-Men arcade machine, like the big 28 sort of 30-inch CRT, 4 players,
sure,
from the arcades. That was fun, getting up a fire escape, the size of that. And then so I had that, and I went to work as a rep out in was it Ibiza for a month. And where I was staying in the lobby, they had a Fear of Magic pinball machine. So that's what's that? So go in there, stick a few pesetas or euros, whatever it was, in that, and got me hooked. Come back, bang, straight on the internet. Dirty Harry, £500 Dirty Harry from AJ Pinball in Bromley. But I didn't know, if I knew then what I know now, sort of thing. So bought that, turned it on, bing, 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 like check magnet, check switch, check this. I had no idea what it was, but it played all right, and that was the first. And then from there, it got Dirty Harry, Twilight Zone, Indiana Jones, Attack from Mars.
Indiana Jones somewhere.
Lord of the Rings, Cactus. Yeah, Lord of the Rings thing. I missed that machine.
That's in good nick.
It wasn't. It was 1,300 quid from Steve Paggett, I think Steve Brum on the group, and then that went off to Dave Taxman, who has recently sold his his high speed getaway, and Dave did an amazing job on that. An amazing job, re-decaled, playfield strip, top and bottom. And I think Jag 555's got it now, I think. And yeah.
Is that John?
Is it John? It might be.
He can't. Sure. I don't think he's got it.
One gentleman on the group's got it, because I sold that to Lee Riley. Unfortunately, I sold it to Lee Riley. That and Big Bang Bar went to Lee Riley, and then Lee Riley then sold it on.
Okay, right. Well, I know this. I'm learning, because I've been in the hobby. The longer I'm in here, the more I'm getting to know. So this would be the second pin I've heard from you. I didn't even heard of, and I hadn't even. I saw you sent the picture. I don't know what is that. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it before. You've now mentioned it 3 or 4 times. What on earth is it, Dave?
So that's a Capcom Big Bang Bar. Well, it's a Capcom remake. Capcom were making pinballs in the 90s. They all of a sudden, I think, they closed their doors, decided they weren't going to make it anymore. Capcom was going to concentrate on computer games like Street Fighter and stuff, I guess. They had made 10 or 12, I think, Big Bang Bars. And
10 or 12 machines.
10 or 12 machines, yeah. And then they closed their doors, so they were prototypes. So there was Big Bang Bar was due to be made next, and then there was actually another. I think it was a game called Kingpin. We won't go there, but so those two games are lined up to be made, and then they weren't. Gene Cunningham from Illinois Pinball, he decided. There's a whole another story on that of how he got the rights, or may not have got the rights to make the Capcom Pinball Big Bang Bar, but he with Capcom closing their doors, he managed to get all of their excess stock, all their circuit boards, their flipper mechs, and all that. So Gene decided to say, right, okay, I'm going to make Big Bang Bar from these spare parts. I've got X amount of circuit boards. So he started on a project. Again, a bit like Dutch Pinball, started on a project. Take years. It didn't look like it was going to happen, and then it did. But so that is one of the IPB remakes. He made 185, 190-ish Big Bang Bars.
There's less than 250 in total of these machines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it good?
So, yeah, good. Again, yeah, it was a good game. Good, flowed well. It was quirky. I mean, I miss it. And you can pick one up for that 25 grand if you want one. But
really?
Yeah, it's sharp in price. I shouldn't have sold it really. I sold it because there was rumours of a remake coming, and I thought, okay, I'll get it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Again, it's the humour that I like. It's the humorous side of it. So it's based on, obviously, it's a bar in outer space, and you just got a sort of Ray's bar. The bar, the owner's called Ray, some sort of alien, and you just sort of take a tour of the bar, and then the modes. I can't remember the modes, but a tour of the bar, sort of like a DJ one. We have to hit the orbits to change the tune. But yeah, it was really good, really spacey, really. Yeah, really, really good.
Oh, nice. But you know what? You learned something. Listen, you sent me a lot of pictures. One of them I did. I thought, why have you sent me? Bearing in mind you've just said what your lineup is. Why have you sent me a picture of an Elvira topper and a shooter rod?
Well, so can you see what topper that is?
What's an Elvira topper?
Yeah, I haven't got an Elvira yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. So why have you sent me a picture of it?
Because basically, I plan on owning. I mean, I'm gutted, Chris. I'm gutted that your Elvira's gone. If that had come on the market, mate, bang. I missed out on the one that Chris was selling narrowly, and I thought, Elvira again. Not really played Elvira much, but again, it's the humour, that sort of stuff. It seems
from what you've said and your taste in games, you'd love it.
Yeah.
That's not making you feel any better, but you'd love it.
It's not good. Thanks for that. So I thought, well, you know what? Because again, I think that Stern, it's kind of like Rolexes, but the amount of games they're producing, the amount of toppers ratio to games, they know they could make a lot more, but they're not. And so they're kind of starving that market, driving up the demand for these toppers, supply and demand. And so they're becoming rarer and rarer to find. I mean, hopefully Elvira will be remade in 2022, and I'll pick up a premium or a 40th edition, if depending on how many Phil's got left. But the toppers, you can't get them. So I was like, and I thought, well, while the going's good, while there's still a few out there, maybe I'm going to put out some feelers for one. And yeah, I picked one up from the same guy who sold me the Batman LE topper that's on my Capcom Premium.
Well, that's there as well.
That's the one. So that's the original Stern topper for the Batman LE SLE. Again, they made, I think, 250 LEs and 80 SLEs, and maybe a few extra toppers to match or to put on other games. But again, super hard to find. Love the money. And I put out a feeler for one, and some guy in the US said, "Oh, I've got one. You can have." or prize it off my LE. He took it off his LE. He said, "I'm going to make my own topper." So I was like, "Okay, how much do you want for it?" And yeah, so
You still have the Batman, though, don't you? You've got the
I've got
Batman.
That's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Again, it's
Yeah.
that sort of theme. I used to watch it with my dad, who passed away a couple of years ago, so those sort of things, Batman, monsters, they won't go anywhere.
No. That's it's a beautiful looking game. Actually, to be fair, Monsters is a good looking game. I've got to say that as well. Batman is a beautiful looking game when and I loved all the old colours of that old series. I always remember it on telly. It was something about that series, and I guess colour tellies hadn't been out that long, to be fair then. But there was something about the richness of the colour, and you can see that when it's on the LCD screen as well. And I love the artwork, and I do think that is one of the very best looking games. But they've done a similar thing with Elvira, haven't they? That's a very limited run of them.
And the code. I mean, it's Lyman's code. It's so deep. I'll never see the end of it. I'm not that good a player.
No.
I'll never see the end of it. And it's Lyman's code. So it's definitely is.
So you're in. I'll take it you're on the waiting list for the Elvira then.
No, I'm not. No, I need to speak to Phil actually about that, because I'm kind of like, I know that Jiminy bought your one, was on a waiting list. I had spoke to Phil. He had 3. I think he got in 3 40th editions, and he sold 2. So there is one left. But they're 18 grand's a lot of money to swallow. But then, so you say that's now set the precedent now. That Elvira, 18 grand. When Back to the Future comes out, the SLE, that's going to be an SLE for sure if it's a Ka-Pow game. That's going to be.
So sorry, Ka-Pow game. Let's just talk me through this. I know we've not discussed this on any of the podcasts at all. And obviously that rumor came out that was going to be. There was a little somebody. Was it you that put that little snippet of audio on that? It was going to be an Elwyn game.
Pinside. It's going around Pinside. There's a lot of say evidence, a lot of sort of insinuation towards there being a Back to the Future pinball machine sometime in the near future. And it's a Grail theme, so I need to sort of.
But what about this Ka-Pow thing? Is that what they did with Elvira and Batman,
Ka-Pow,
which is only make a premium?
Joe Kamikow, I think his name is. He was a pinball designer and stuff, and he's got his own company. But Batman 66 was the first Ka-Pow game, I believe, in joint with Stern. So Batman 66, and then you've got the Beatles was done in conjunction with Ka-Pow, Elvira. So there's another one as well. Escapes me, but Batman 66, Elvira, the Beatles were all done in conjunction with Ka-Pow. So and the Beatles is a good pin in its own right. I mean, I'm more of a DMD sort of screen, but Elvira and Batman just popular and have stood up.
Well, anyone with Beatles at the moment who wants to sell it must be thinking it's Christmas, to be fair, because well, it is Christmas, because the all the new Beatles footage that's come out in the Peter Jackson film and everything. It's and anything with Beatles and surrounding the Beatles, the value of it's going to be going through the roof at the moment. With that anyway. So possibly, so if this is true and it is that same Ka-Pow thing, then you would expect there to be no pro version of Back to the Future.
No, I expect it to be premium LE and SLE, super limited edition.
Wow.
Same as Batman, same as Elvira is.
But then it's all on the designer for a lot of people, I think, that if it wasn't, it's then on the designer. So
Keith Elwyn is rumoured to be designing this.
Well, then people are going to have it because he's building up a cult following. And I've not really wanted to have any part of that, but I've found myself getting more and more into it. I want to have Jurassic Park back. I really want Jurassic Park again. That's the thing is, that thing there as a shooter, I think it's the best shooting game I've ever had. And I hate the theme and I hate the sound. I think it's awful. Actually awful. Yeah, I don't care because it's so good to shoot. And I never thought I'd be there. I don't care. Like you compare it to something like an Attack from Mars, which you mentioned earlier. Just so simple. Funny call outs, really decent as DMD, but really decent animations. Shoot the flying saucer, save the city. So simple. So simple, right? With some little side bits of some aliens jumping up and down, all the rest of it. Yeah, fine. But it makes total and utter sense. And you can really buy into, you feel when you're playing it that you're, and I guess that's you've got a successful pinball machine. You feel like you're saving Paris from the flying saucers.
Lyman's Code again. I believe that was Lyman as well.
I think he certainly did many of Imagine. I don't know, whatever it is, it's the story of it's great. You feel like you're immersed in it, and the sound helps you as well. When I'm playing that Avengers, I don't think that I'm saving the world from Thanos, or I don't care. I'm just shooting shots. Okay, what have I got to do? Okay, that shot completes that mode. That. I'm just shooting shots, and it's so good. And it's actually the layout of what the guy does. And I think it's the same with the Jurassic Park as well. I don't know if I'm collecting a dinosaur's DNA, whether I'm putting a dinosaur in a pen or driving a Jeep through a paddock. I don't know. The only bit I really know is where I feel it is when there's a mode in it where the T-Rex is chasing you. You're in a Jeep, the T-Rex is chasing you, and you've got to hit the Jeep to change gear and get away from him. So, actually, it's something that links the screen with the gameplay. That's making sense to me now. So I actually don't think Elwyn's games are that brilliant in terms of what's on the screen. There's certainly no humour in them as far as I can tell.
I've not played because obviously coronavirus stuff like that and lockdown. I've not actually played a lot. I think the last one I saw Stranger Things when that was released at the EAG in London, sort of like in a room upstairs. The EAG saw that, but then obviously since then, Led Zeppelin, not played it. Turtles, not played it. Not played it very much. What are the ones that just come out? Well, anything from Stranger Things, really.
Okay.
Along those lines.
Led Zeppelin.
No Led Zeppelin, no Turtles. No
Mandalorian.
Sorry?
Mandalorian.
No Mandalorian. That's it. No.
Okay.
So I've not really played a lot of those at all. So
yeah,
I'll probably if I do get to play them, I'll probably it might change the line for a little bit, try and fit. But
if you play them, you might try and buy them, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So again, I think Star Wars theme, love Star Wars. I love again the 2017 Star Wars gets stick, but I think it's great. Love it. That gets you going, like with the gameplay and stuff. When the music and you've got Star Wars, haven't you?
Well, I loaned it off Chris, but I really enjoy it. It's
the theme and the music, and when you got the shot, you got to hit the shot that matters. Does that not sort of get your heart racing?
I didn't understand the criticism. I had a completely different set of criticisms of Star Wars, which is too bloody hard.
Well, yeah.
But actually, I think I'd spent so long, the last 2 years or whatever, however long I've been, doing this sort of thing of people telling me that actually Star Wars wasn't really a Star Wars film. People tell you when you switch it on, you don't feel like it's Star Wars. You look at it, it doesn't feel like Star Wars. So people tell you that so much, and you hear a lot of it. I could only be pleasantly surprised by it. Particularly, there's the one, the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader, where they're doing the lightsaber. I think it's lightsaber duel.
It goes blue and then red.
Really good.
Love that.
Really good. There's so much, and it has. I've got all those sounds. It's got all of the sounds, everything that you would associate. The sound of the Jawas, the sounds of R2D2, all of that sort of stuff. It's actually the music in it, in terms of it builds drama. I wasn't even aware of this until Craig came and played it here with the multipliers. Quite how tempting it was, and I didn't realize the sound on it. It was him that pointed it out, and he said there's a sound.
Still don't understand the multiplier. Again, rules. I won't go and look at a rule set. I won't go and study the game. I know people that do are heavily into the competition side of it will go and they'll study that. They'll watch the Papa videos and all that sort of stuff. No, I'll get a machine, I'll go right, and I will go at my own pace, and I'll just learn, and eventually try and learn it myself. But I still can't get my head around these multipliers on Star Wars, how it works and stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, funny enough, you might not watch it because you say you don't watch those videos, but myself and Craig, I didn't play the bloody thing. He played it. I just talked a bit. He explains it all, and we've got a video. I've got loads of videos waiting to come out, but I'm waiting on this channel until I've done. I've got to get 4,000 watch hours. Then I unlock a load of other stuff, which allows me to do a lot more with the channel, which I'm really close. I'm up at 3,850 hours watch time, so I'm close there. So next week, and so I've got I've got the Guns N' Roses one to come. I've got the Star Wars one to come. I've got loads and loads of
I
loads
might
of
watch
videos.
that one because I said,
He
I don't know
explains it.
how they get the scores.
Well,
they
he
do on that.
explains it, and when he explained that, actually, so you build up your multipliers maybe 8 times, 9 times multipliers, that sort of thing, and then I didn't know how you lost it, but it actually tells you it's this little 3. When it does that, it's telling you you're about to lose your multipliers. You need to hit that bank of 3 targets again. So it's really interesting because you might be on a mission or you might be trying to do something, and you're trying to hit the inner loop or something. If you want to do that or whatever, or hit the ramps or whatever, the Death Star, whatever the case may be, you think, actually, I've got to stop what I'm doing quickly and hit at least one shot at those 3 targets to keep my multipliers high. It's just a completely different aspects to, I think, to any game that I've played. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. I think the inner loops feel great. The right ramp, great. I mean, it just feels right. The timing of it's just right. There's something very right about it. It's harsh. The plunge is harsh. Really, really harsh. The slingshots are horrendous.
Definitely a game that you need to give a bit of a nudge to. Definitely a game that you need to hone your nudging skills on.
It is.
So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but this is not to hear people speak about it's the worst game in the world. It's really not, and
that's what I don't like. Go and play a game, and no disrespect to Neil, but he does have he'll go on and on about it was just no, it's crap, it's chopping wood, it's this. Before you write it off, find one, go and play one, go to Tilt, go to Cheap, go to wherever, play it, come around mine, play it, make your own minds up. But I think sometimes it just does get a little bit mentally draining. Like just crapping on the game. But make your own mind up. So I love
me 6 weeks.
I love Star Wars. They're not going anywhere.
6 weeks of only playing Star Wars to then start opening. Okay, right now I can play this game. So it did. So, but I've said this a few times, and I've had, I think I had Stranger Things here for 3 months as well, and Star Wars would have been here for 3 months. I would take Star Wars over Stranger Things. I really would. I really would.
I was a little bit, but not really, not enough to get into it. Again, I'd like to play that as well, and I've got the shooter rod and Topper coming for that as well. But anyway,
you got a lot of shooter rods and Toppers for Cage Week.
Oh, in there, I've not seen the pictures. I've got the Vara Topper. I've got the Turtle shooter rod. I've got the Deadpool shooter rod. I've got the Jurassic Park lit up shooter rod. Just because, I said, when I buy a game, and I didn't have a Topper fetish, which like until I think I bought one. I can't remember what it was. I think it was. Oh, it was. I managed to get the Ghostbusters Topper from Phil, and I put it on Ghostbusters, and then it just looked out of place with the other ones not having Topper. So then I bought.
Let's have a look again. Oh no, sorry, hold on.
Okay. So yeah, started off with Ghostbusters, that had the Topper on it, and then I bought. What was it? I think then I got the Guardians and the Guardians Topper.
I like that Ghostbusters Topper actually.
Again with the code was shocking. I think Dwight's a very much according to people 9 to a 5 man. He'll put in he'll put his code in, and then what's they're paying for example, and then that's it. Lyman on the other hand, if he's a player, he will go back to that code, and Keith is also a keen player, and he will go back and he'll go, oh, I see that in the game. I'll tweak this, I'll tweak that, and Lyman just works on his the amount of code updates for Batman and Spider-Man even, and all that sort of stuff. He was still releasing code updates, and Elvira. Loads and loads of effort that he put in. But Dwight, it took him 4 years. I mean, I bought Ghostbusters new box, 2016 as my first new box, and then it took him to 2020 to actually put put the final win mode in, and fully integrate the Topper a lot better. So so it's very much which is why Lyman's games are very much in demand, and he was putting all the Stern's sort of top titles. And now he's gone. Hopefully they've got some other talent to fill his shoes, but it's some big shoes to fill, in my opinion.
I hadn't even considered that actually. Have you got anything else on the horizon? Is there anything? I know you've obviously spoken about what you'd like. Have you got? Do you know what you're getting sort of next?
As I said, I'm literally. I mean, if an Evo pops up, I'll have one. And I'm just saying that, Mark. Yeah, saying that. I've just bought Dirty Harry, the Dirty Harry, which I had a Dirty Harry, and then I did that a lot as well. So Dirty Harry was my first game, but I sold that one and I bought another one. Got it imported from Germany. Really nice example. Sold that to Mark. Mark's downsizing, so actually I'm having Dirty Harry back. Not quite sure. I think this might go to Andy S actually, and he lives not far from me, so just loan that to Andy S. And then, so Dirty Harry's going back, and then it'll be say Elvira or Save My Money for Back to the Future, which will be the top, SLE. It's got to be an SLE. To be honest.
Sure.
So
look nice in the shed.
And then but it's a space issue as well. So I don't know what will go. I'd rather said like loan him out to a forum member who can be who say I like the forum. The forum is good. There's some really nice people on there. Really nice people that will look after machines, treat with respect. And so might look at loaning a couple out.
Well, you're welcome to loan one to me. I'd look after it. I'll polish it for you.
So I do like to keep my machines clean and tidy.
Well, your covers. I saw your covers. Sorry, we were just speaking about your covers. You make these pinball covers.
I don't make them.
You commission them, but
so again.
Or whatever, you commission them to be made. How did that come about?
Yeah. So there's a guy a few years. Where is he? Hungary, Uruguay. Sorry. His mum, his little old lady, makes them. Bless her. And he made some, and then really good quality. So it kind of went from there, really. So you could get them in a lot of different colours. There's a thread on the Pinball Info website as well about it, and then you could get patches. It started off well, but he's his mum makes them. Bless him. So it's one lady outfit sort of thing, and the guy Andreas, he works in film, so he's actually away filming a lot. So the reliability's got a little bit low on getting them. So it's kind of, I've put another order in, but if that comes, I'm not quite sure. But they're good. They dust-proof, waterproof. The colours match. I've got nice little patches with what games I've got on them. So just
what like a logo thing on them?
Yeah. Ghostbusters got like the Ghostbusters logo, and I've got Medieval Madness logo, Creature, and things like that. So
I think I swap my games too much to do that. I think I keep my plain ones.
Say again, sorry?
I swap my games too much. I think I keep my plain ones.
Well, that's kind of what I'm starting to do now. But just set some machines off. I'd like to have the toppers, the matching toppers, shooter rods, and then because it's outside in the cabin, it can get a bit dusty in there. So
yeah, they are really really good, and particularly the ones in the house. I have them on all the time basically. And if you haven't seen them, they're really good. So it's really good fabric, and also they've got magnets in them. So when you pull them over the game, the magnets sort of. By the way, it doesn't like chip your paintwork or anything. They're covered in fabric, these magnets, but they're sort of precision custom made. And you do them for Barry Williams, don't you? You do the different ones for the Stern
Barry Williams, Stern, Data East, wide body, standard body. You have was it 6 magnets? So you have 2 at the top that can kind of grip to the hinges, and then you have 4 at the bottom, which obviously grip to one of each leg. So.
No, I don't think it's really good. I was really surprised. I knew I needed some covers when I ordered them off you. I didn't really know what I was getting. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't overly looked at the thread beforehand. Well, I think I even said, "Oh crikey, I've missed all this. What's going on?" I didn't even know there was such a thing as me constantly.
So get some more in. As in anybody who's not happy with the quality, I'm more happy to give the money back.
No, they're really good.
Sort of Funhouse. That Funhouse was don't give me something that.
What the Funhouse thread?
Funhouse, that's not as described as it. That was a bit.
No.
No.
The Big Lebowski. Do I remember this right? Did you buy 2? Because I think what happened was, I think you bought 2. I want to know the whole story here, please. I think you bought 2. One came before, then a second one came, and then that's why I bought Jurassic Park off Andy, because I think Andy said this is a dream theme for me. I've got the Big Lebowski, so I bought his Jurassic Park of him, which I felt really sorry. It was down here with his wife, and the money wasn't going through on a bank transfer. You know, sometimes it's instant on a bank transfer.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, I think it must have taken about an hour and a half or something like that. I felt so obviously I made him a cup of tea and whatnot, but I felt so sorry for him. He didn't know me from Adam, but it's such a large amount of money that you're transferring over. But yeah, so tell us about the Big Lebowski. How did this all? What happened with it all?
So, I mean, it's such an epic story, sort of going in the realms of sort of Big Bang Bar sort of epicness in length. But obviously, Dutch Pinball designed Lebowski, put it out to market or to take pre-orders. It's going to be the original run of 300. That sold out, and then once they'd taken some deposits, they found a contract manufacturer, ARA in the US, sorry, in the Netherlands, a contract manufacturer. So, and there's lots of different stories and sides and stuff, but from Dutch Pinball's side, is that ARA started to make the games. They started to find it a little bit, or they underestimate the manufacturing costs, the labour, the parts, etc. And so, and let's face it, a lot of pinball manufacturers have gone to the wall and stuff because of that. So they said back to Dutch Pinball, right, we originally quoted you X amount to make it. We're going to need more money, which obviously shrunk Dutch Pinball's profit margin. So Dutch Pinball agreed, and then ARA carried on making some. They shipped about 30, I think, 30 out the door. And then I think a guy called Rene, who was the CEO of ARA at that point, turned around and said, we want more money. So Dutch Pinball said, no, you had a contract with us for this amount. So ARA said, well, okay, we're not going to make any more. And they had, I think, about 30 or 40 more games that were in various stages of manufacture, like cabinets, playfields, assembled, etc. Like that. So then they stopped. And it kind of became sort of like a very big stalemate between ARA and Dutch Pinball. And it went on because Dutch Pinball like, you know what, fine, we're not paying you. And I was like, fine, you're going to get the games. And then there was nothing. And then Dutch Pinball decided or started venturing into getting the manufacturing in China. So Barry from Dutch Pinball flew out to China, had a look at some factories and stuff. And we're about to get agree in manufacturing sort of with a Chinese manufacturer when because also at that point Dutch Pinball did say that, you know, because everyone was, oh, well, we want my money back, pull our money, you know, what you've got left. And Dutch Pinball did refuse and say, sorry, we need that for the court case that may ensue.
Sure.
Because we, you know, according to them, their contract was solid, but they were refusing to give money back. So it said a couple of years, went to go to China. As soon as that started, ARA raised a lawsuit with Dutch Pinball and said, you know, because we're a manufacturer, we're now going to take you to court. And that was another 2 years, I think, before the court case was heard. There was a few bits and bobs going in between that, trying to mitigate, you know, but nothing. Dutch Pinball lost the lawsuit, and so it was, you know, near enough the end.
Had you ordered one at this point?
Sorry?
Had you ordered one at this point?
We had ordered and paid. I'd ordered and paid full amount. Yeah, 7 or 8,000 euros, maybe.
So how confident at this point were you that this thing was even going to get made? I mean, or did you think you'd lost your money?
You know, everyone lives in hope. I mean, I was in on the Predator pre-order as well. I bought and paid for a Predator.
Predator?
Skip B Pinball. I don't know. That's
another
conversation, Chris. That's another conversation, mate.
Yeah. Okay.
But so everyone lives in hope. Oh yeah, they're going to work it out.
Okay.
But because I'm quite good, so I speak to Barry Dryston for Dutch Pinball quite a bit over WhatsApp and stuff. And basically, lost the court case. ARA had all these machines and parts in storage, and they can't sell it because they didn't have the IP. Dutch Pinball had the IP for Lebowski from Universal. So bit of a stalemate. And then Barry, in his final hours, just went, you know what? I'm going to ring the head of ARA, not the lawyers, you know, all that sort of stuff. You know, I mean, Rene, the CEO who was in charge of it, they fired him as well. They fired him. I think possibly something to do with this, but they fired him. Barry said to the guy, look, I can't pay you. You know, you want this amount, I can't pay you unless you release the games that are made and all the parts to me, and then I will sell those games on, the 40 that are already built. I will sell those games for an inflated price. I mean, I think they come in at $11,500. And I will then pay, that money will be held in a third party, like CoinToker, which CoinToker were given the contract to sell the games for Dutch Pinball. They held the money and then they paid ARA. So, and that's what happened. All of a sudden, these 40 odd games, which everyone was starting scrambling for, a lot of the EA early achievers is what the initial 300 were called. They were peeved, to say the least, you know, threatening to sue and stuff because they were our games that we had paid for, you know. So those games had went to collectors, and then I contacted Barry and said, Barry, you know, you should have given the EAs a chance to buy those games that were already made, and then hopefully that'll give you enough capital to then set up production and start eventually, you know, you can make us whole by either giving us a second game, or you know, or giving us our money back, sort of thing, when that game number turns up. So I set up a private pinball pinside forum for the TBO owners, and got quite a few. I mean, there was quite a few of the owners, and said, look, this is what I've been speaking to Barry about, because Barry, obviously, with the bad press, everyone was literally calling him, I'm going to sue you. That's Americans for you, you know, Americans, isn't it? I'm just going to sue the pants off you and all that sort of stuff. He refused. He started not answering emails and just went dark. But then I would contact Barry, ask him questions. He would tell me. I'd post on his private Pinside forum. It was kept private because, you know, with one post comes 15, 20, 30, 40 others of negative and not helping, you know, not relevant. So anyway, so quite a few EAs did then agree to buy another game at the inflated price, 11,500. Well, actually, I think it worked out at, because that was America's price. I think it was 11,200 quid. I think it was for a new TBL, and then he would make the EAs that did pay for another game. He would make that EA game. I mean, it had just a little plaque on it. They all had sort of chrome trim and a rug. And then Barry did sort of then go that extra mile and go, look, I'm gonna give you something special. And it's got like a lit apron. I should send a photo of that, actually. So an early achievers lit pinball apron.
So the one you sold to Andy, or that was the second run. You kept the first run, yes. But why had you ordered one of a second run? Why did you order a second one?
Well, it was because at the end of the day, it's a great theme, and it sounds bad, but okay, I ordered this Lebowski, and I get my EA game of one of the ones that were pretty much built, because there was 40 completed games, and there was a lot of other games, and there's all the playfields there, and all the PC parts, and all that sort of stuff were there, just kept in. I've got pictures of that as well, kept in boxes in a climate-controlled room at ARA. And then when Barry said, well, I struck a deal, they released it, and there was like HDVs full of parts going into to where Barry, this warehouse for Barry and stuff. So I was like, right, okay, well, if I buy one, I'll get one. If it all goes tits, with my French, then that Lebowski is going to be worth, well, they were changing hands for 25,000 euros, dollars anyway on Pinside. So I would get my game, I would then play it, and then I've got a rare title. But luckily it didn't go that way. I got my game, and Barry is still making Lebowskis now. So albeit slowly.
Okay.
He started off with just sort of family and friends, and his kids at weekends. And then that's grown. His factory has grown. He's got we had small premises, then he's got a good sized warehouse factory. And this part shortage is affecting everybody at the minute. So he's struggling to get some parts and stuff because it is all the flipper mech and stuff, of Bally Williams and stuff, and the PCs and stuff that they use.
Do they still manufacture that sort of stuff? I know Bally Williams don't manufacture themselves, but someone manufactures pinball parts, generic pinball parts. Is that right?
Well, I think the Bally Williams, so all the flipper mech and stuff like that, they were patented, but then that's that's stopped there. So that's now gone. So now you can freely make the copyright on them the patent has run out.
Okay.
So people make these parts, like flipper mechs and stuff like that, plungers and all that, coils, and then obviously Barry's had to source because ARA were making the circuit boards and ARA were making the metal ramps that go underneath the playfield, and all the sort of the underside of it, and he's found a new manufacturer for that.
How good? Well, actually, sorry. Question first. So he's still selling them. Is there a waiting list for them, and what price are they?
God, yeah. So I think they're still $11,500 or 11,000 pounds if you import over here and stuff. The waiting list, I think, is about a year and a half. What he is doing has been slow because obviously some EAs, there's 300 machines sold. 40 of those EAs got their games at the very start. I think just like me on pin site on Pinball Info, Guy, he was one of the first 10, I think, in the UK. So he was all the pre-orders. So he's got his game years ago. And now Barry's sort of kind of making it I'll make 6 new games, sell to new money, and then with that money made, I can make 1 or 2 EA games, if you know what I mean. So rob Peter to pay Paul kind of thing.
Sure.
But that's what he's doing. But it's going well. I said it's still in demand and stuff. There's not many come up on the market at all. It's a good game. It's a good game, and the code was okay at the start of launch, and he's had several code updates since then as well. And then it's still not entirely there, but again, because it's who is it? Is it DeWin? The guy who programmed like The Hobbit and stuff like that is a good programmer. He's working on it. And he's doing sort of code updates, and there's still a few wizard modes to put in and stuff, but the code is good.
Is it everything? Obviously, it's a dream theme for you. Is it
everything you wish it would be? And the integration is just off the charts. It is it's great considering it was first announced in 2015, might have been 2016.
Wow.
So it would have been so kind of just before I think JJP with their sort of color monitor, they had the color screen, like it wasn't a full blown color screen, but it was a screen showing the clips, the film and stuff. So that was kind of almost the first in pinball there. DMD, there was sort of JJP and Dutch Pinball, and then it was JJP with the big sort of monitor. So it's just before JJP started releasing I think. And it's the integration is just great. And
so, but how about the gameplay itself? How good a game are we talking here? I mean, because obviously you don't rare as rocking horse what's it. You don't ever
come and play it, Chris. Come play it. I mean, it's I like it. The integration is good. The shots are good. The flow is good. So it's got all the toys, upper playfield, lower playfield, bowling alley. That's a full blown bowling alley. You can go bowling in it. It's got pops out a bash toy. Yeah. So there's you make a character's name and then it diverts. There's a ball. I mean, I've seen some more photos. But it's a ball, a full size pinball, not one of these like little mini pinball like on Munsters or Family Guy, the little tiny sort of ball bearings, but a full blown pinball. And there's 10 pins that are all automated or all got different solenoids and stuff. And and it's
that sounds amazing. Actually, that does sound like an amazing game because I love the film. The film is sensational. It's a wonderful film, and particularly the scenes in the bowling alley are fantastic. I think particularly I was reading today on the forum that possibly the next Stern title might be Venom, and then it's sort of Rush as well. And I'll be honest, I don't know. I racked my brain to think of a song from that particular band. I don't know them. And somebody else commented on the forum, said it does seem to be sort of comic titles, and then sort of a classic rock band or whatever. And I mean, I sort of get it, and I say that with Avengers Infinity Quest behind me, and also Deadpool. But I'm not a Marvel fan, far from it. I don't even know all the characters in that game there. So and somebody had mentioned a little while ago that Jaws might be a title, and I think sometimes there are just titles which I think actually that's brilliant. And the Big Lebowski, I didn't even know that there was a Big Lebowski game. So when I that was initially the first I ever knew about it was that thread that you posted up there.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's got to be great, and a little white Russian, the glass there, and all the rest of it. It's amazing. Good. It is amazing. Dave, I think we'll leave it there, mate. But listen, thank you so much for joining us. Please do hang around there. So I want to say goodbye to you properly in just a second. But listen, mate, thanks for joining us. Send us the links as well to the pinball covers and the.
So if I get some more, I will. If I get some more, but it's,
and the shed build as well. If you could dig up that thread for the shed build and all that stuff, we'll put it all in. We'll put it all in underneath, mate. And I wish you luck in your Elvira quest, mate. I really do. I hope they.
I'll find one.
You will. I'm sure you will. Dave, thank you very much indeed. Right, that's it. That's episode number 24. I'll put a little thing on it if this cuts out a little bit, by the way, at different points, it's because we had a couple of sound issues at the start. So please excuse me. Unfortunately, it's the benefit of doing this sometimes. I know it's nice to do it live because we have the live chat, but sometimes the benefit of being able to not do it live is that you can edit out any sort of little sound issues, which we had at the start. So if there are some sort of crude sort of cuts in the video, then at least hopefully you understand why. That was Dave there. Thank you very much to Dave. We've got an extra 3 or 4 Chinwags all lined up actually as well, which saves me hurriedly rushing around messaging people saying, do you want to do a Chinwag? But yes, thank you for all the support. Lots of videos coming out. So lots of stuff going on in December. Actually, let's be perfectly honest. We've got the new club opening up. Where is it? It's Bishop Stortford, something like that. We've got the new club opening up. We've got the event at Special When Lit coming up very soon, I think. Actually, no, but actually, because I'm pre-recording this, it's already happened. It's already happened. It's already, by the time you watch this, it's already happened. We've got 2 or 3 tournaments coming up, one of them at Neil's as well. So lots and lots happening. I'll catch up with you very soon. As ever, please don't forget to stick a thumbs up on the video. Don't stick a thumbs down. That's naughty. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll catch up with you next week, trying to do it every single Tuesday. So thank you very much for all your support.